Released all the way back in the distant year of 2011, The Innkeepers is apparently a horror movie which was written, directed, edited, and produced by Ty West, or as I know him, the man who helped birth the modern cinematic masterpiece, Cabin Fever 2, Spring Fever. Yeah. Anyway, Innkeepers tells the story of Claire, an employee for the supposedly haunted Yankee Peddler Inn that is going out of business soon. Claire works at the front desk alongside her co-worker Luke, who I initially mistook for every adult video store clerk ever, but doesn't seem to be the case. The pair are enamored by the supposed haunting of the hotel and spend their time trying to gather evidence for the paranormal, in hopes that they can post it on their website that looks like it was made in 2001. A new guest checks in, and here we learn that Claire has an unnatural fixation on retired actresses from the Lifetime channel, apparently.
Do you know who that is? It's Leanne Reese-Jones.
Okay.
She was the mom on, Mother Like Son. Mother Like Son is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Okay, I guess that's supposed to be quirky. Claire and the former actress exchange dialogue in a weirdly sexual scene where we learn that Claire has no great aspirations other than working at a failing hotel. Wait. Yeah. We also learn that Claire is asthmatic. I bet that won't come into play later in the plot. Probably not. The expository dialogue in the scene doesn't really reveal anything about Claire, and is made even more pointless by the ultimate ending of the movie, but I'll get to that later. Something I feel like I should point out is the score of the film. It's so distracting at times and feels like it's from a kid's movie, which I thought this was at first, but
Hey. Fuck! What the fuck?
no. And with Claire acting like this, or saying things like this.
Doesn't a Cyclops always have one eye? What do you mean?
You forget the movie's not PG-13. This movie feels like a waste of an R rating. It's only there for the swearing, a really brief moment of gore, and it doesn't take any advantage of its rating. It could use this R rating to show more intense and interesting moments, but it doesn't. It's just really weird to see scenes like this
Sorry.
in an R-rated horror movie. So yeah, for you fledgling screenwriters or directors out there, try to stick to a consistent tone and concept. But I digress. So after a coffee run and doing a little bit of ghost hunting at the hotel, Claire runs back into the former actress where we learn that her new occupation consists of magical hippie crystal bullshit and airplane vodka apparently. Using her divine powers of swinging a trinket from Hot Topic around, the actress warns Claire not to go down to the basement because danger. Soon a plot device dressed as a creepy elderly man checks into the hotel, and it turns out that the ghost haunting the hotel is actually his wife he abandoned on their honeymoon, which led to her suicide and subsequent vengeful haunting. What a dick, right? After Luke and Claire get smashed out of boredom and Luke gets blue-balled so hard it makes my knees weak, the film decides to invent the greatest thing ever, drunken ghost hunting. The two decide to explore the basement, which Claire was explicitly warned not to go into, until Luke gets freaked out and runs away because he hears spooky voices. Claire runs up the stairs and beseeches the resident crystal whisperer for help. This medium assesses that the hotel is too dangerous for them to be in now and that the ghost is super pissed for some reason. Claire runs upstairs to get the old man only to find that he has killed himself, leaving a suicide note apologizing for leaving his wife all those years ago. Luke comes back eventually because true love or something and runs upstairs to get the psychic lady. Claire hears some spooky noises from the basement and decides it'd be a good idea to go check it out. She must be buzzing from before, way harder than I thought. The old man that killed himself from earlier shows up as a naked ghost and causes Claire to fall down the stairs where she bonks her head. With her head severely fucked, Claire runs through the basement where the ghostly bride confronts her. She desperately tries to escape through a cellar door only to realize that she had locked it from earlier. And so, cut to black. The next morning we find out that Claire had sadly died from an asthma attack. Didn't see it coming. The asthma came back. Amazing. Luke tells the cops that despite his attempts to open the basement door, he couldn't save Claire. I'm not sure how they wouldn't immediately incarcerate a guy that looks like this, but whatever. Psychic Crystal Woman tells Luke that Claire couldn't have been saved.
There's nothing anyone could have done.
Which I think is total bullshit, but I guess in her world there's no physical way to get a person to not go down to a spooky basement full of danger. But hey, what do I know? I'm not psychic. Claire dying in the end doesn't make any sense to me. If any of the characters were going to die, it would at least make sense if it were Luke, or maybe the actress. Luke is a slacker content with working his dead-end job at a failing hotel. He has no aspirations, and it's been established before that he's dropped out of college, so he's had time to think about what he's going to do with his life, which seems to be nothing. Claire is younger and unsure of herself, and she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. It would make more sense if she came out of this whole ordeal alive and with some better knowledge for a new direction to take her life in. But no, we get what I think is a really lazy attempt at trying to fake out the audience, or maybe trying to make the ending seem dark. Another thing that confuses me is the chapter title cards we see throughout the movie. They don't add anything, and they just seem to serve as a lazy way of saying, time has passed now. I feel like this is something you'd see with a first-year screenwriting student who can't figure out how to transition between scenes, so he just throws it into title cards. So we have a movie with weak scares, uninspired-looking ghosts, bizarre tonal shifts, annoying music score, and an underwritten script that builds and resolves to nothing. Things just sort of happen. It's a pretty short movie, and far from the worst I've ever seen, so it's hard to get really upset with it. The movie sits just below average for me. I give the movie 2 one-eyed cyclopses out of 5.